While the number of people infected by coronavirus in this country remains relatively small, the impact on all of us grows almost daily. And so does a gnawing uncertainty over where all this is going.
Within moments of this Costco opening, a sea of shoppers came back to this area where the water and paper goods are stored.
As of today, we are on sub-level 1 of Code Red.
The world is becoming a story of glaring absences. In Italy, they shut schools and universities, but today 49 people died from the virus. Fear of infection has depleted even the most devoted crowds. St. Peter's in Rome is missing its throng of pilgrims. The tiny Vatican City has registered its first positive case. The Church of the Nativity in Bethlehem is empty. Israel's daunting security walls may stop an intifada, but can they stop a virus? Mecca from above, before the government stopped foreign worshippers, and after. In Iraq's Shia city of Karbala, they stopped Friday prayers and deep cleaned the empty spaces. Fear of this virus has made us, its hosts, put up borders and barriers, while the unwelcome guest is busy crossing them with blind disregard for ideology, creed or flag. For now, COVID-19 has the run of the place. Battling the rising fear and the growing infections is, of course, science. Here in Bedfordshire, they're working on a rapid infection test that could yield results within 20 minutes. But it'll only be ready in the autumn at the earliest. Meanwhile, the cases keep rising to a total of 163 in the UK today.
Is that really what it looks like when you sort of...
And we are all in the same boat as the Prime Minister, learning the basics.
No mucking around with soap.
And of course singing to ourselves while purging our hands.
Authorities admit they're losing the fight to stop coronavirus spreading through Sydney. Cases now emerging from our northern beaches to Liverpool Hospital. Children and staff from a Macquarie Park daycare centre are being tested tonight amid fears they've been exposed to the disease from the aged care centre across the road.
A 95-year-old nursing home resident, Australia's second fatal victim of the coronavirus, and 6 more confirmed cases overnight. Today, those in charge were conceding.
Containment is likely to be an unlikely outcome.
We are not going to be able to contain this virus.
Among the new corona patients, a registrar doctor, aged in her 20s, who worked in the emergency department at Liverpool Hospital.
Our priority will be contacting the patients and any of the healthcare staff that need to be quarantined as a precaution.
The backtracking so far suggests the doctor had contact with 23 staff and 5 patients. They're facing 14 days in isolation. There are now 2 doctors from Liverpool and Ryde hospitals who've been infected with COVID-19. And we now know both attended a radiologist conference in Sydney in February. They didn't know each other and had no direct contact on the day.
We're recontacting everyone who attended that workshop at the same time.
Hospitals, a nursing home and now a childcare centre has been thrust into this emergency. The concern is 17 children from the Banksia Centre on the Macquarie University campus may have been exposed to the virus after visiting the Baptist Care nursing home 10 days ago.
We are going to have a clinic later on tonight and invite the families with their children to get assessed.
The nursing home is now in complete lockdown. Residents have been confined to their rooms and visitors have been banned. It's also been revealed that 4 family members of the 95-year-old woman who passed away here have shown symptoms and are now being tested. Some staff here are clearly rattled and failed to turn up to work.
It's understandable because people are frightened. They're scared of just what this virus could do.
We have 55 cases of coronavirus in Australia, with 22 in New South Wales alone. In South Australia, the youngest victim, an 8-month-old baby and his mother, who recently travelled from Iran. Meanwhile, GPs fear they may be forced to turn away patients suspected of having the virus because of a shortage of face masks.
The government has got about 20 million face masks in storage. My question is, when is the right time for them to release it? I would suggest the time is now.
While the number of people infected by coronavirus in this country remains relatively small, the impact on all of us grows almost daily. And so does a gnawing uncertainty over where all this is going. Today, as the national death toll climbed off the coast of California, we learned that at least 21 people on board a cruise ship are infected. And near the American epicenter of the virus in Seattle, a major university closing its classrooms. While in Texas, Austin's famous South by Southwest festival canceled as a precaution. Tonight, we're going to focus on the facts surrounding the disease, about how we can protect ourselves and each other. Our team is in place, and we start with the latest now from NBC's Joe Fryer.
Tonight, officials say 21 people aboard the Grand Princess cruise ship have tested positive for coronavirus, including 19 crew members. Thousands of passengers are quarantined on board off the coast of San Francisco, waiting for answers out at sea. At least 10 passengers who were on a previous trip on that same ship have also tested positive for coronavirus. One of them died. Meanwhile, at the nursing home at the center of Washington State's coronavirus outbreak, officials say 15 residents were rushed to the hospital in a 24-hour period. One resident, 89-year-old Elaine Herrick, died yesterday.
As far as we knew, she wasn't sick. So I was surprised.
The official death toll in Washington is 11.
We must prepare this region for the inevitable continued spread of this virus, at least in the short run, but we will do everything we can to slow its spread.
The outbreak is now prompting a major change at the University of Washington, which has 50,000 students. NBC's Steve Patterson is there.
Starting Monday, this campus will be empty. Students are going to stop meeting here for classes, all classes, even exams will happen online after a staff member tested positive for coronavirus.
Nationwide, 5 new states, Indiana, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Kentucky, and Oklahoma, reported their first cases today. Los Angeles, a second medical screener at LAX, is now tested positive, while in Chicago, a 21-year-old college student has the virus after visiting Italy.
Just very mild symptoms like runny nose, headache, cough, difficulty breathing, but no high fever.
In New York State, 22 new cases today and 4,000 protectively quarantined, with New York City officials now pleading for more test kits, telling the federal government limited capacity has impeded our ability to beat back this epidemic. There's also growing worry among healthcare workers. A California nurse released a statement saying, "I am currently sick and in quarantine after caring for a patient who tested positive, but she's struggling to get tested." Other nurses worry their hospitals are not prepared.
Their employers don't have the basic and necessary measures in place to protect nurses and other healthcare workers.
Back at the nursing home in Washington, the quarantine is keeping couples like the Campbells apart. Married more than 60 years, now separated by glass, unable to touch.
This morning, Washington State remains the center of attention as the coronavirus spreads quickly. All of the deaths so far involve elderly patients or patients with underlying health issues, most linked to a Seattle area senior center. While in New York, experts warn the virus will spread there after a healthcare worker contracted the virus, likely during a trip to Iran. She's now quarantined at home and does not need hospital care. In Miami, the school district is already preparing 250,000 laptops and tablets for students to work from home in case schools are closed.
This is not the time for parents or teachers or students to be concerned with perfect attendance. If you're sick, don't come to school.
President Trump on Monday met with drug company CEOs.
When do you think you could have the vaccine?
Pushing them to quickly develop a vaccine while seeming to contradict a timeline offered by Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's top virus control expert.
Do you accept that this will take longer probably than you would like?
I don't know what the time will be. I don't think they know what the time will be. I've heard very quick numbers, a matter of months, and I've heard pretty much a year would be an outside number.
He's asking the question, when is it going to be deployable? And that is going to be at the earliest a year to a year and a half, no matter how fast you go.
Meanwhile, in Denver, no coronavirus cases yet at National Jewish Health. But over the weekend, someone came into the hospital and stole protective masks meant for doctors, nurses, and patients. With supplies running low nationwide, the hospital is now guarding its supply while it awaits another delivery.
There is a huge public frenzy right now for buying masks, and all of us in the healthcare world have urged the public to stop buying masks.
Hundreds of shoppers rush into a Los Angeles Costco this morning with this warning. Supplies are being rationed to keep up with the unprecedented coronavirus panic shopping. Customers run down store aisles at full speed and then quickly start loading up their carts. Within moments of this Costco opening, a sea of shoppers came back to this area where the water and paper goods are stored. Our camera crews were allowed exclusive access inside the store before it opened. This Costco is getting deliveries around the clock. As you can see, a lot of water and paper goods, and within an hour, all of this will be gone. All part-time employees are working full-time shifts. Merchandise stocker Hector Flores says he's never seen demand like this, even on Black Friday.
It's just hectic. As you can see, they're stocking this high. It's never been this high. These pallets have come from the dock. We're backed up just a bit.
Is it a nightmare to keep all of this in stock?
It goes quick.
General Manager Thad Calez says customers were waiting up to 3 hours for supplies to be restocked, so now some products are limited to 2 items each.
Right now there is a limit on paper goods, all tissues, paper towels, and water.
At checkout, hundreds of shoppers, some wearing masks, are eager to take their ration supplies home. Why are you stocking up? Are you concerned?
Very.
So what have you come here to buy?
Water, toilet paper, hand sanitizer, canned goods.
Tonight, 12 million students in Japan are out of classes. Schools across the country closed for a month to stop the spread of coronavirus. Cases here now top 200, with 2 more deaths, including a 6th passenger from the Diamond Princess cruise ship. Tonight, the World Health Organization raising the risk level globally to very high.
Health systems around the world are not ready and need to be better prepared to absorb the impact.
Disneyland closed its gates for the first time since the devastating earthquake and tsunami in 2011. This visitor says, "I don't know who has the virus. I can't see it. It's best Disneyland closes." Tokyo putting the finishing touches on Olympic venues, saying there is no plan B. The games now 5 months away.
Japanese officials insist preparations for the games are moving forward as planned and on schedule.
But officials now considering scaling back the torch relay next month to limit crowds as the new virus pops up in more countries.
Malaysia has reported a jump in COVID-19 cases. 14 new patients have been diagnosed, bringing the country's total to 50.
They're all linked to a patient who was confirmed positive on Sunday, but authorities say that patient cannot be called a super spreader.
The outbreak is also showing no signs of easing in Iran. Nearly 600 new infections have been reported, bringing its total to more than 2,300 cases.
300,000 health workers and specialists have been deployed nationwide. At least 92 people have died from the virus in Iran. That's the highest death toll outside of China.
해도 있는 곳, C는 터져 있는 곳, D는 신천지 예수교회 총회장 이만희 총회장님이십니다. 갑니다.
친자재 대표로서 국민 여러분께 진심으로 사죄 말씀드립니다. 고의적인 것은 아니지만 많은 회사나 지금 현재 여러분들하고 대화를 하게 돼서 감사합니다. 네, 우리 힘으로 미치지 못해서 정부 당국에서 와서
합숙하고 있는 집단 합숙소 공개하라! 집단 합숙소 즉각 공개하라!
이곳 사이비 신천지에 빠져서 사람이 안 죽고 영원히 산다고 그 거짓말에 속아서 부모를 버리고 집을 가출한 지 3년 차입니다. 그래서 이만희의 노예가 되어서 살아가는 내 자녀가 하루빨리 집으로 돌아와서 부모 품에 돌아와 자신의 인생을 살길 바라며 또 이곳
condition of the patient deteriorated within the last 24 hours, resulting in his demise.
Sobrang hirap po kasi lahat po talaga ng store wala silang stock ng face mask. So ano po, talagang ang taas pa po ng presyo ng iba.
In light of the COVID cases?
Hindi siguro dapat ginawa muna yon. but that's their decision, being independent or being covered under the local government code. So that's their own decision, but as of today, we are on sub-level 1 of Code Red, and that is not being recommended.